She's my navigator.
She's a good girl.
Yeah. Works out pretty good. I take her everywhere, and inevitably she introduces me to everyone.
That's awesome.
So it's actually really cool. Yeah. It's been a lot of fun to travel with her.
I guess so. How long have you had her?
She'll be 4, and I've had in November, and I've had her since she was about 3 months old. So
it was
yeah, I've had her a long time, and she goes with me everywhere I go.
Your faithful friend.
We decided that we were overdue for an adventure, so yeah, we're slowly heading from Lubec, Maine, down to Key West, Florida at this point.
That's a good place to end.
Yeah, I've never been. I've never been to Florida outside of the airport, so or much of anywhere on the East Coast. So this is a way for us to slowly pedal through the whole thing and have a great adventure with my best friend here. It's been.
Where are you from?
Austin, Texas. Most recently, I've been living in Terlingua, Texas, which is really what inspired me to do this. Terlingua is right on the gates of Big Bend National Park.
Oh, I know where that is. I've been there.
Oh, really? Okay.
That park is amazing.
It is amazing. And
hey, is that town at the Boquillas?
Boquillas.
Boquillas.
They just reopened that crossing this summer.
You know what? When I was there in '99, you could only go across by boat. The Mexicans would take you over.
Yeah.
By boat. It was illegal. And there was a banditos, American banditos up there. People were hiding from the government. But then 9/11 happened. I heard that they changed that whole thing.
A year after 9/11, they closed the crossing, and that town all but died. And now just this year, they've reopened it, and there's a big celebrations. And lots of people now traveling back over to Boquillas. All my friends in Terlingua, like they all go over there.
They didn't have any electricity when I was there, you know.
Yeah, I mean, I didn't make it. I know right where the crossing's at, but I didn't make it actually to Boquillas. I spent time in Big Bend National Park, and really it's sort of why I ended up doing this. While in Big Bend, I met these 2 brothers, the Husson brothers, and they had taken 2 years to cross the country by bicycle. And they were doing a documentary, America Recycled, and they were stopping in these little off-the-grid communities and riding their bikes across the country. And they ended up coming down in Terlingua the same day that I did, and they stayed there for 10 weeks. And in that time, I got to know them, and their story about everywhere they've been on their bicycles just blew me away. And so I really started thinking I want to do a bicycle trip. And so I figured out how I could bring my dog with me. And after a year of living down in Terlingua, I got to live on a school bus down there just overlooking Big Bend National Park. It was absolutely amazing. It was like a song, man.
What were you doing there?
Well, you know, initially my truck broke down, and in the time it took me to, you know, get my truck fixed and get back on the road, I was offered a job, and I fell in love with all the people, and I just decided I wanted to stay there. So I spent a year down there.
But in a bus?
Yeah, there was this nice guy, George, who ran this bar called the Boathouse. There's a bus right there, and it overlooks a campground. And so I had it set up where I could stay on the bus. If when he's not open at the Boathouse, I would, you know, collect fees from the campers, and
that's how you saved your money?
Well, I saved money because I inevitably got a job down there bartending at this place, and so I stayed for the year that I stayed there. I didn't have any bills, so yeah, I was able to save the money from working at the High Sierra to do this. And
all right. So what'd you do? Flew to Maine?
Well, I did 600 miles. Once I got this bike, I went 600 miles from Galveston to Texarkana for a family reunion. From there, I borrowed a truck from my stepdad and drove it to Maine. And
borrowed the truck and left it in Maine?
My stepdad has a son that's an airline pilot, so he can fly virtually free anywhere. Okay. So he flew up eventually to Bangor to pick it up and then drop me back off in Lubec.
When did you actually, so your trip started in Lubec?
This part of my trip started in Lubec, yeah.
But before that, you said you were stuck in Lubec. So people, by the way, I have a TV channel in Lubec too.
Okay.
In Machias.
In Machias,
but it hits
sure.
Lubec. So you had mentioned that you started there.
Yeah, I mean, I went to, initially I wanted to do what's called the Northern Tier, and it's a national bicycle trail that goes from Bar Harbor to the West Coast. And because my dog, she slipped a disc while on the ride up here in New Jersey, I had about 10 weeks of just letting her recover. So I needed to just kind of stay put and not let Bixby move around too much. And after going to Bar Harbor, I ended up going up the coast a little ways, and I just turned down that road. And when I saw Lubeck, the easternmost town of the United States, I wanted to check it out. And so I pedaled into, or I actually at the time, I guess, I drove into Lubeck, and as I do often in a town I've never been in, I went into a little pub there called Annabelle's.
You bet.
And
I know Anna.
They just opened their arms to me.
Oh,
They're
bet
like,
they
go
do.
get your dog. And so they let me bring my dog in.
No rules.
And from there, inevitably, I just started meeting all these people. And the next day, I was just sleeping in the truck. And the next day, when I got up and around and walked through that parking lot right down there on the water, 2 people from up there on that balcony were like, "Hey, Mike, how's it going? Hey, Bix, how you doing?" And I'm like, "Okay, this is ridiculous. Like, you know, this
Isn't
is meant
it
to
unreal
be."
there?
Absolutely. And so I just started meeting people, and then I met a nice couple, Lizzie and I forgot his name. Sorry.
That's all right. Okay,
Anyway,
so
I met a nice couple that offered to let me stay in a cabin out in the woods. So I ended up staying out in a cabin in the woods for a while, and just randomly stayed around in different places and explored everywhere on the Maine coast by truck that I could because I had my dog. And then once she was healed and I was able to give the truck back, then it was time for me to start my trip. And it's been just shy of a month now. And so I've just followed the Maine coast down through Portland and Kittery, and then I followed the New Hampshire coast down, and now I'm in Massachusetts. And
what made you come to Nantucket, though?
Well, you know, as I'm kind of flying by the seat of my pants here. I had my western trip more or less mapped out, and now that I've decided I need to go south because of the winter, I'm just taking people's word of mouth as to where me and Bix should go.
Okay.
And so partway down, people told me, well, you should go to Boston and then take the ferry over to Provincetown and then ride down the Cape.
Well, that's
so
a
I
good
went to
idea.
Provincetown. It was amazing. What a lucky place to be a dog. And then down the Cape, people were saying, well, you got to go to Nantucket. And to be perfectly honest, from Texas, not knowing anything about the East Coast, I kind of thought Nantucket was like in Scotland or something. I had no idea. I don't know anything at all about Nantucket. But when I looked on a map and I saw, well, this is possible and I could take a ferry, I decided I have to go to Nantucket, and I have a dog on the back of my bike and a bucket. And her favorite toy is this thing, and it's called a Chucket.
Oh,
so
yeah,
I've got,
yeah, of course.
I have to write a limerick with my dog in Nantucket.
Oh, yeah.
And
When did you get here?
I got here like an hour ago off the ferry. Like, I just landed here.
Oh, my
And I was
gosh.
asking around, and how I met Jackie, I was asking around, I figure a taxi driver would know. I was looking for a big sign that says you're in Nantucket of some sort, so that I could take a picture that will inevitably have a limerick attached to it. When I told her that I started in Lubeck, she instantly mentioned you.
Of course.
So there we go.
And so here we are. So how long do you plan to stay on Nantucket?
Well, I'm thinking I'll probably stay here 2 days. I want to pedal around and see as much as I possibly can.
Because this is, the bike paths here.
I keep hearing.
They're famous.
Well, and as soon as I got off the
Just-
ferry,
You don't need a car when you come here.
I hate that. I met Joe right when I got off the ferry here, who's manages the bicycle shops. And they're
Okay.
like, waving me over,
Oh,
want to
yeah.
check out the rig. And he just raved about the bicycle shops, and he raked out a map and showed me everywhere that I should go.
good.
So, kind of the same thing. I know it's my dog, but everywhere I go, everybody's just so nice and hospitable, and
Well, you seem to have, you got a good gut. Your gut's telling you things.
I'm hopefully losing my gut. That's
Well,
part of
that'll go. That will go. But you're trusting it, and
yeah. Well,
you've got good vibes,
I
you got
decided
good
when I
energy.
set off on this trip that I don't have a start date and an end date. This is an adventure that I want to have with my dog, and I'm just leaving it to the universe that something really positive is going to happen from this, and it already is, because I can't think of anything I would rather be doing than pedaling the country with my dog.
Is that right? Still?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, this
But you've had great weather too.
Well, I've had great weather, but I've had some bad weather.
Okay.
And I just have to deal with that. I find that when bad weather is looming, the generosity of people, I find a place to go. I find an awning to get under, a church to go to. The police departments in local towns are so hospitable when they know that you're traveling. I mean, you're going to give what you get, or you're going to get what you give,
Yes,
for sure.
that's right.
I don't want anything from anybody. I'm not trying to scam anybody, but clearly, like, I'm on an adventure, and I think this sort of a thing absolutely brings out the best in people, and people, I can tell, genuinely want to know, like, what I'm doing. They want to hear about it, and in a small way, like, if I can, you know, take a picture and post it on Facebook, and they can go in and tag themselves, then in a small way, they become a part of my adventure, and I can tell they love it, and I love it, and it's amazing how many people that I've only met for a day or two, but I actually correspond with and keep in touch with because they're posting things about Bixby, or they see Bixby somewhere and they take a picture and post it. And
before I go, show me how you packed yourself so to make this as comfortable as possible.
I mean, first off, I mean the bike itself is really where it's at. I mean, I tried to figure out how can I bring my dog and a cargo bike. And I looked into this company. They're called Yuba, and this model is a Mundo. They make a couple different bikes, and they make cargo bikes. So this bike will hold a lot. It'll hold 450 pounds on the back of this thing. And I learned about them. They're out of California, new company, and I liked their story. And so I found and got a Yuba Mundo cargo bike. And it's got like a flat rack back here. So this is the bottom half of a dog crate that I bought. And we attached a piece of plywood to the bottom, and then I've got 4 bolts that hold this to the bike, and I can just unscrew them. It takes about a minute to unscrew it and take this off. And at that point, then I can get in my
look at the bags,
huge panniers here, which once this is off, just pulls right off.
But is it? I mean, it's a cargo bike, but as far as gearing and driving it,
I mean, it's 21 speeds. I have disc brakes. I mean, this thing is a pack mule of a bike. So I mean, this is a serious bike, and I've had no issues. It doesn't flex. It doesn't twist. I mean, I have
the seats comfortable?
oh yeah, I have nothing but great things to say about this bike. This is one of my favorite toys that I got. This is an Exogear XBT. And this little radio right here is 100% waterproof. I can chunk it in the water and you can't hurt it. It runs off Bluetooth. The battery lasts like 12 hours. And I've got a solar panel in here, so I can just charge this thing via USB.
Oh, okay.
And so this allows me to charge my radio, my phone. It allows me to charge my iPod. And then it's also got like an external battery pack that when I fully charge that thing, I can charge my cell phone like 10 times. So, I mean, I've got some pretty cool technology on this thing.
Awesome.
And this deal, I mean, I turn heads because I can cruise down little towns. And whether I'm listening to Willie Nelson or whether I'm listening to like Parliament Funkadelic, I mean, people are like, what on earth? Because I'm singing along to everything.
It's a radio, or is it connects to your iPad?
Well, it connects to an MP3 player.
Okay.
But it's also like Bluetooth. I can do phone calls through it. So yeah, I use this every single day.
What about food and camping and tents and stuff?
Yeah, these are my spare clothes. This is the pad that I put on the ground. This is a travel guitar and a spare and a spare tire.
Nice.
And so in this bag I've got my tent.
The tent in that one. Wow.
Yeah, I've got a tent. Right now I've got like probably almost 20 pounds of dog food in there. I've got lots of water. So yeah, I have to carry lots of provisions, you know, to keep this one happy. And so yeah, I mean, honestly,
That's
people
great,
who,
dude.
well, and of course, you can't go on any bike tour without your Richard Nixon mask. So I bust out Tricky Dick like everywhere we go. There's lots of pictures of Nixon everywhere.
Oh my gosh.
I found this on the way to Burning Man, and I thought it was hilarious, and I just started. There are pictures of Richard Nixon in like all these national parks across the country in different places.
Terrific, dude. Terrific.
So yeah, I carry a lot more than most people that are going on a bike tour, but I literally live on this bicycle. I mean, this is everything that I need to get by.
Well, you want to get to Key West. When do you think you're going to get there?
I'm shooting for mid-December. I don't know for sure because I just keep, going word of mouth, but I know winter's coming, so I'm definitely trying to get south. But I'm shooting for December, and when I get there, I hope to find some way to find a little job for a little while so that I can save a little bit more and start heading west. And eventually, Yuba Bicycles, I'm going to show up at their doorstep, and I fully expect a party.
Okay, that's all. That's all you can ask
I don't
for.
believe. I don't believe anybody's done a.
How many parties
a
are you
tour.
going to have on this trip? I mean, you're going to have a great time.
Well, and it has been a great time, and the best part of it, hands down, is that, you know, one, I get to take it with my dog.
Yep.
So I mean, come on, that's awesome. And because of her, all these people
I know, they're all interested in.
and I get to meet everybody, and you know, inevitably people want to show me the towns that they live in. They want to introduce me to their family. Like, you know, I've been brought into people's homes that I don't know because my dog's cute. So, you know, I owe a lot of this straight to Bixby back there, because she's definitely the star of the show, you know.
Well, look, I want to wish you all the best.
Well, I sure
It's great to
appreciate
meet
it.
you.
Well, it's a pleasure to meet you too, man.
And maybe you'll hear from a few people out there that watch this that want to connect with you through your blog or Facebook.
Yeah, that would be great. You know, I want to meet as many people as possible. That's what this whole journey's about.
Okay, buddy.
All right. Yeah, thank you.